I'm 63. I was born in 57. And in November of 68, I went to see a special movie. I had no idea what it was about. And a month later, less than a month later, Apollo 8 went to the moon. What I saw was 2001: A Space Odyssey. And because of that bone being thrown up and then falling and becoming a spaceship, I mean a space station, a military space station, they summarized 4 million years of human evolution. And that movie made me a space addict, a science fiction fan, astronomy addict, also classical music interested, all kinds of things. And I read later, much later, that those who were most interested in that movie at the time were the boys between 10 and 14. I was 11, so right in the good spot. And that's how, well, now I'm years later in 94, I mean in 92, I read in the astronomy magazine that there was a impact going to happen on Jupiter in 94 by Schumacher-Levy 9 comet and 21 species. So I thought in June 94, I should join a club. I called a club. I had a paper with all the addresses of the various clubs in French-speaking side of Belgium, because I'm French-speaking, even though I lived in Antwerp all the way until a year ago. My mother was born in Jamestown, New York, so that's why I was half American until I said, okay, my American citizenship, it's not anymore an advantage, because you have to declare things and so on. So I dropped my American citizenship. I certainly didn't drop my knowledge of English, luckily. And so I decided to join the club in 94, expecting to be able to see the collision. Hello. To see the collision on Jupiter of that comet. I didn't, well, no amateur telescope showed anything, only Miles O'Brien on CNN with live events. That was fantastic. And I could later talk about it, and we talked about it. And then I joined the club, and the club also had a observation site even further south of Brussels in Jean Blou. And that's where Jean Blou is a small town, 25,000 inhabitants, between Brussels and the main city of Namur province, Namur. And that's where I've been ever since, back and forth from Antwerp to Antwerp and so on, to Jean Blou, or the neighborhood, because the sky is much better there. And that's where I went to live a year ago, after my mother died, and after we had to sell the house in Antwerp and so on. And I'm pre-pensioned. I'm no more working, so it gives me some time. I was asked to become a national coordinator for Astronomers Without Borders by Yael Nazé. She is a professional astronomer in Belgium. She published some articles about the giant stars. It's her specialty. And she just wrote a book about the strange events going on in astronomy. Name anything that's out of the ordinary, for instance. And we've been talking on the phone and at the planetarium to each other for years, especially to organize the International Year of Astronomy. And that's when we started to use tu instead of vous in French. So the more familiar way to talk to each other. And I thought, well, it took a long time before we finally used the tu instead of the vous. That's one of the things in French. You don't say you all the time, but you say tu or vous, depending on how you know that other person. and uh, and so also another guy who knew that I was French speaking, but living in Flanders and uh, uh, president of a club also in Brussels and Jean-Blou that I became, well, okay, contact Mike Simmons and so on. So it will be okay. Now, in Belgium, you also have a guy called, his name is Jean-Pierre Grotart. He's from Ghent, and he is the leader behind the project called the Stars Shine for Everybody, or for everyone. It's a giving telescopes to third world countries, children who need that in schools. We did the same thing, and I think he came into he contacted me because he knew about Mike Simmons, and he knew what Mike Simmons wanted to do from his place to the same thing, more or less. And well, okay. And I told him, hey, wait a minute. You are not, I am the national coordinator for Belgium, not you. Or I'll be for Holland. Okay, well, but the thing is, we did give telescopes to schools for children, for instance, children who cannot be sent back to their parents every day. So they have to stay there. But you give a telescope to the people, the person responsible, he stores the telescope and that's it. Why? Because during the day, children don't see stars. Uh, uh, why would you, and I told Jean-Pierre, but wait a minute, you should have a telescope that looks at the sun without any danger, with a filter, the right protection, and you should explain and make it as simple as possible. But even then, why do people join clubs? Because they don't understand something they received, a telescope, and they join the club and they get the explanation in 5 minutes, and that's it. Maybe they want to stay, maybe not, I don't know, but that's why people join clubs, astronomy clubs in the past, and now a little less because they have internet to explain everything, or they get explanation on the social networks and so on. But at the time, you didn't know how to use the telescope you got or you bought. Okay, that's how you joined the club. And because there's a club about 40 members, we have, I'm member of 4 different clubs in the French-speaking side. Everyone 40, 50 members. Now we have a pandemic. What is going to happen after the end of the pandemic? Things are going to change. We're going to have surprises, depending how you organized your club before. Maybe, for instance, there's a club that certainly had 50% more members during the pandemic than before, but the room they can go to is not wider. It's still the same. There's not enough room for everybody. Or we're going to a hotel. The hotel would let us have a drink and occupy a room because we are a cultural association. But now they have not had any clients for months, so they're gonna want to get money from us. So we're gonna perhaps have to rent the room. We don't know yet. And that is something that is a big interrogation point. We just don't know what's going to happen when everything will settle and we return back to normal life. But that's one of the effects. It's fantastic for a club, not that fantastic for another, because we probably have to spend more money. But these are the things that happen to clubs.